Dela writes, my MVVs, welcome. The Ooni's elders' reaction, a king's authority question, under the royal household, tried you will be pushed out. They said it's not a small something. You know something, eh? Do you know that? One thing I would say to young unmarried girls now, if you decide, see, marriage is not just a child affair. Even Oletik herself said this before she got married. You have to be very careful, okay? Hold on, please. Let me drink water. You have to be very, very careful. When you decide that you want to marry a traditional king, you were there, they were counting the women they will marry before you agreed. They're all right, okay? Let me take you into the sacred halls of Ife as it is right now, where royalty is not just about titles, but about power, loyalty, and tradition. The event unfolding within the Ooni's household have sent shockwave through the kingdom. A battle is raging not with what all, armies, but with emotion, jealousy, and betrayal. Now, at the center of all of this storm is Oletik and, of course, Christiana Adewale. Now, Oletik happens to be a woman whose love for her king has now become her greatest pain. Because when you look at her, you find out that every time she's... See, let me tell you, I just want to believe that one of the times that she gets really, really excited is maybe when she's doing her Instagram blogging things. Every other thing doesn't excite her anymore. It's not something that you can see it, and are you not seeing it by yourself? It's there. Now, after she stood before the palace, before the elders, before the gods of the ancestors, because when the elders gather, it's like the gods, the ancestors are also, gathering there with them, okay? And ordered Adewale out, thinking she had the power to decide who stays and who lives the Ooni's life. The consequences came swiftly. The elders of the palace, the custodians of tradition, could not keep silent. One by one, they said they called Oletik before them. Seated in the great Owa's chamber, the council of elders, wise men who have served under kings, who have watched generations of queens come and go, fix their gaze upon her. The weight of history hung in the air, the walls whispering with the echoes of those who had stood in that very spot before her. Then the eldest among them spoke. His voice, rich with the authority of age, cut through the silence like a blade. Okay? A queen who questioned the king's authority is a queen who will be pushed out. He said, his eyes never leaving Oletik's tear-free face. The word hit her like thunder. Another elder, one of the Ooni's most trusted advisors, leaned forward. His face was filled with disappointment. Did you not know before entering this palace that you were marrying a king? Did you think you alone could claim his heart? If Queen Naomi did not stop you from entering this palace, who are you to stop another woman? You have done what no queen, have ever done. No queen should ever do. You have publicly challenged the will of the Ooni. Such action brings shame to the palace. They said Oletik's chest rose and, fell rapidly. Her emotion boiled over, the pain, the frustration, the betrayal she could no longer hold in her. Now, you know that if there is one queen that the Ooni of Ife has loved so much, it's Olori Naomi. Now, if Olori Naomi could not question Ooni's authority to get married, you saw how she silently packed. And let me tell you something. One thing a lot of people did not know is that Olori Naomi did not leave the palace because Ooni married so many wives. Olori Naomi left the palace because the women were attacking her. Now, with tears streaming down her face, she broke. Her voice, filled with agony, trembled as she cried. They say she cried, though. Oletik cried. Her affair with my husband has broken me completely. I can't take it anymore. I love my king so much, and this has caused us so much pain. Her word hung in the air. The elders, though wish and experience, wise and experience, were still men, and they understood the pain of a woman who loved deeply but was forced to share the one she cherished. But tradition is tradition. The Ooni is not just a man, he is king. His love is not just for one woman, but for the entire kingdom. So my thing is that, this has torn you apart. This has broken you into so many pieces. You love your husband so much and you can't let this go. Is it that somebody forgot that Olori Naomi also had feelings? Yes, it was very difficult for her because one, she was still very young. She never had this kind of understanding that she's got today. It's only God who knows what that woman, Olori Naomi, went through in the palace, One of the youngest elders, known for his strict adherence to tradition, shook his head. Olori, your pain is valid, but this is the life you chose. The Ooni's heart is not bound to one woman alone. You knew this, you accepted it, and yet now you weep as though this is a betrayer. Tell us, who has been betrayed? The Ooni whose authority you have questioned, or you who has allowed jealousy to cloud your judgment? Now, my dear, Dela writes, in the land of the ancestors, a king's household must be harmonious. Harmonious, that is what they said, oh. I see this every time when I read through the history of, Ile Ife, The queens are pillars of support, not sources of conflict. A queen who challenges her husband publicly disrupts the spiritual order of the kingdom. This is why the elders could not take Oletik's action lightly. Her outburst was more than just personal. It had offended the gods of the land. The Ooni is not just a husband. He is a divine ruler, a spiritual leader, a representative of Oduduwa himself, Now, you see, that is the reason why, Queen Naomi's reconciliation with the Ooni of Ife has been really, really tough, because these people, they knew what they were doing when they pushed Queen Naomi to go and post that kind of a thing on Instagram, because they knew that the decision will not be that of Ooni of Ife alone. The elders, everybody, will be part of that decision making, because they continue to say that should a woman do something like that, the woman would have offended the gods of the land, that the Ooni of Ife is not just a husband, he is a divine ruler, a spiritual leader, a representative of Oduduwa himself. So there are certain things that you're not expected to do. One of those is challenging him, but I have seen cases where other women have done more and more and more in the palace, and apart from what happened to Ebony recently, what have we really seen or heard that happen? Now, to challenge the king's decision in this way was to challenge the throne itself. If such defiance went unchecked, what would stop another queen from questioning the Ooni's decision tomorrow? What would stop a servant, a chief, or even an enemy from doing the same? The palace is not a place for personal battles. It is a sacred space where every action carries the weight of history and tradition, And that is what everybody is saying. The elders turned to her face once more. You will go before the Ooni and apologize. The elders among them declared, not just for yourself, but for the peace of this palace. You will humble yourself before the king, before the gods. You will learn to live as a queen, not as a woman blinded by jealousy, Oletik lowered her head in, shame. She had thought her love for the Ooni would give her the power to dictate the affairs of the palace, but now she understood no queen is greater than the king, no queen is greater than tradition. As she walked away from the chamber, her heart was heavy. She had fought for her love, but in doing so, she had almost lost everything. And for Christiana Adewale, she stood even stronger. She had not been pushed out. She had won. Now, Dela writes, hear me well. This is not just about, the Ooni of Ife, Oletik, and Christiana. It's about power, about knowing one's place, about understanding tradition. In a king's palace, love is not just about emotion. It's about wisdom. It is about patience. It is about survival, Oletik forgot this, and she almost paid the price. This is what we are hearing. If the information that we have been getting is the truth. I do know, I will always say this. You see, you want to just marry your own husband. That is what me, I would say. Sorry about that sound. Marry your own husband. Oh. Polygamy, especially in a royal household, is not it's not an easy thing. So do not forget that these are all alleged, rumored, unverified information making the rounds on social media and should not be seen as fact.